Hey everybody, my name's Ian. Welcome to another Flex Physiotherapy video. Today I'm going to talk about how to make a thermoplastic buddy splint. I'm sure you've all used buddy taping before, neighbour strapping sometimes called, putting an injured finger with taping to hold it close to an uninjured finger to protect it while still allowing some movement at the IP joints. The plan today is to look at how you can do that using thermoplastic. Why might you want to do this? Well, generally speaking, the kind of injuries we're going to do this for are problems where there's an MCP joint or a PIP joint injury, which doesn't need complete immobilization, but needs a bit of protection from bumps and knocks. And so allowing MCP movement and allowing IP joint movement gives you that flexibility and that function. And the buddying makes it so you can't get the lateral forces to re-injure your collateral ligaments. The problem with buddy taping might be good for sporting situations, but it's not really user-friendly for everyday life. It gets very sweaty in between the fingers, gets wet when you wash your hands, and you find yourself constantly either being uncomfortable or needing to take it off and reapply it. And so with a thermoplastic splint, you've got the easy off, easy on option of the velcro straps. So I'm just going to start with a strip of thermoplastic, roughly the width of MCP to PIP joint, so it might be narrower for a smaller finger, a bit wider for a really big hand. And I'm going to be rolling back the edges for comfort, so you want it to be a little bit wider than you might first think. I drop my plastic into the hot water and we wait. Here's my patient's hand. We're going to say that the middle finger is the injured finger, and I'm going to buddy it to the ring finger as my intact, healthy finger. So that might be a useful strategy for protecting an ulnar collateral ligament injury on the middle finger at the MCP joint or the PIP joint to try and minimize radial deviation while still allowing some flexion. Here's my heated up strip of thermoplastic. I'm just going to do a quick roll back just along the proximal edge like this and slide it around those two fingers like so. Bring it around and pinch it together on the dorsal aspect. Now, I quite like to get a nice contour up into here. I'm just going to use the back of the blade of my scissors here. You can use the end of a ruler or the end of a metal goniometer. Works quite nicely for this as well, just to get a nice snug contour up in between the fingers. It's not a hard push, just a gentle press into the plastic as it cools. And so I've got a splint with a proximal edge already rolled back for comfort, a distal edge which I can adjust for length if necessary, and then dip and roll in the water. Now I could wait until that's completely hardened, but I probably don't need to, because as long as it's hardened enough around the fingers so it doesn't lose its shape, I can slide it off carefully. Thank you very much. And I will trim off the unneeded plastic. Like so, just rounding off my edges. I can use a heat gun to just smooth those off if necessary. Now let's have a look with this on the palm side. As you flex your fingers, you can see the middle finger flexes quite freely, the ring finger is a bit limited, so we need to trim a bit of extra length out of the ring finger side. Like so. It's always easier when the fingers are exactly the same length, but that doesn't always happen, does it? So slightly longer for the middle finger, slightly shorter for the ring finger. I can now dip this into the water. Just the part that I want to roll back. Not worried too much about the dorsal side of it here, just the palmar side, where it's going to be uncomfortable if it's sharp as the patient flexes their fingers. Heat it up just enough to roll that back. Roll it back and smooth it off. Make sure that it's nice and smooth and comfortable on the sides where it's going to be potentially rubbing against the little finger and the index finger. If there is any minor roughness there, you can always smooth it off with a heat gun at the end if necessary. Okay, so there is my buddy splint. Slipped on like that. Try flexing now, that looks much better. And the MCP movement is unrestricted. PIP movement is very close to being unrestricted. Try making a full fist, full clenched fist. Great. And so now all we need to do, relax there, thank you. All we need to do now is to put a couple of little hook and loop velcro pieces here to make a strap across the top, and then the patient can tension that as they want, loosen it as they want, take it off for skin care and for washing and drying the splint, and reapply it whenever they want to. Okay, I've gathered what I need to do the straps. I've got some adhesive hook velcro, and I just need a very tiny piece like this. It's a 25mm wide strip that I'm cutting it from, so if I just cut that in half, I'll end up with two little pieces like so. I'm going to put one here and scratch up where I want it to stick, and then the other one here, like so. It's good. Maybe not strictly necessary to round off your corners, but I do like to make it look tidy. Scratch this up to help the adhesion. Bit of noise from the heat gun. A little bit of heat to warm the plastic without reshaping it, just enough to activate the adhesive. Repeat on the other side. There we go. A little reinforcing strip. Don't need to heat up too much, just a few millimeters until it softens, because you can always stretch it out a little bit to make it cover the distance. Press it down nice and firm and flat. And then one for the other side. Okay. Now just check while I've got the heat gun going, any little patches that feel a little bit rough, a little bit sharp, anything you think might be uncomfortable for the patient, you can smooth it off. You can always come back and do this after the patient's tried it out, and they can tell you where it's uncomfortable. And then a little strip of the loop tape, non-adhesive, sew on loop. Again, trim it down to about half the width, round off the edges. And this is ready for the patient to try it on. Thank you very much. Slide onto those two fingers and then just adjust the tension. The patient can adjust it as needed until it feels comfortable. It feels comfortable at the moment, so I'll trim that back to length. And then I'll get you to try making a fist, opening up. Spread your fingers wide apart. It's good. And on the palm side, how does that look? And close a fist, open up and spread wide. And so you can do very much the same at the middle phalanx level to protect the PIP joint if needed. If you are only trying to protect the MCP joint from a collateral ligament sprain, then you might be okay just to do the single splint just like that. So that's how you make a thermoplastic buddy splint. Try it out for yourself. I hope you enjoy making it. If you have any questions, any comments, any tips or tricks, please put them in the comments below, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers.